Hey guys, Reilious here, and welcome to Reilious World. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been since May since I've made an episode, but I've got a thing called procrastination. It's fun. But anyway, the main focus of this episode will be kind of continuing my reading of survival, but not in order like I said I would last time, because I'm more excited to read my newest work, basically. It's the newest chapter out of survival, but it's the only thing I've written that's actually fairly good within, like other than role-playing with people, it's the best thing that I've written in a while. And the character that I played during this was really fun. And I should probably give some context as well, as I said, the character that I played. This short story of sorts is called Myth of the Clown. It's based off of a roleplay that I did on a Discord server called After the End. After the End is a zombie apocalypse roleplay that was overall really fun. And I have a couple people to thank for that. LW, or Lone Wolf, for making it, and then a bigger thanks to Church for being basically the other half of the writing in this. Because this book was based off of an interaction between two different characters of mine and his, and it was fun scaring the crap out of him in the middle of the night. So, without further ado, I shall begin reading. And also, since these are characters that I know well, I can actually do voices for them. So get ready for that fun. The Myth of the Clown by Reilious Johnstone. The evening was moving into darkness as a man walked up towards a large building shadowed by skyscrapers. The remains of hospital were seen on its front, most letters faded or fallen off in the 15 years the world had gone into chaos and anarchy. It was the apocalypse, beginning in this very hospital. A quarantine zone surrounded it, barriered by chain-link fences and bodies of the dead. Noah bashed open the door with a kick, holding a flashlight in one hand and a baseball bat in another. He was looking for the clown, as some call him. Few knew about this man, other than his circus name, Bubbles. Those who knew about him knew that he was held up in the old Kane City Hospital. Noah looked around the front lobby, seeing more bodies of previous patients and workers of the hospital. He grimaced at the sight. Damn, this crazy clown must have come after these people. Although Bubbles hadn't been the cause, Noah knew little of the hospital during the early ages of the apocalypse. These were the first deaths of the apocalypse, never leaving the building. Some had been half-eaten, limbs or organs missing from their bodies. It was a zombie apocalypse, after all. Noah walked past the bodies, aiming his flashlight down the hall just to the left of the secretary's front desk. He turned towards an open door, checking for any other undead as he made his way deeper into the hospital. This is getting eerier by the second. A gurney slowly rolled down the hall, the wheels creating a quiet squeaking sound. Noah quickly turned towards the origin, watching it roll. He began slowly walking his way towards it, looking for its origin point. The gurney had been coming from a room at the end of the hall up ahead, a flickering bulb casting light into the hallway. The hospital shouldn't have had any power left. Noah approached the room slowly, holding his bat at the ready to swing at whoever jumped out from behind the door. He was hoping it was the clown. He stopped as he heard a giggling from down the hall, looking around. Finding the origin direction, he ran down the hall to close in on the giggler. A bang stopped him in his tracks, coming from a closed surgical room door. He turned towards it, hearing the banging continue. Slowly walking up to the door, his flashlight flickered, causing him to freeze and hit the flashlight to get it to work again. After managing to do so, he reached out for the door handle. Deciding to not touch the probably infected door handle, he pulled out his pistol and shot the 2 door hinges, ramming the door open with his shoulder. The door slammed open, falling on the floor with a loud metallic bang. Inside the room was a singular doll in a chair, smiling at him with the blank expression only dolls could give. A trail of blood led from the doll towards a vent on the wall, close to the ground. Otherwise, the room was empty. Noah, not liking the doll one bit in this situation, grabbed it and threw it into the corner, causing its head to come loose from stitching and decapitating it. He ignored the doll, following the blood trail and going to the vent, peeking his head inside. The vent went upwards from its spot on the wall, another corner leading to what looked like over to another room. Did he climb the vent? Noah asked himself. Do I have a friend? A distant voice asked. It sounded high-pitched, however not childish. The voice could only belong to a clown at the circus trying too hard to make a friendly voice for children. It was too optimistic for the circumstances. No, Noah said to himself. You're too much of a creep to have friends. I'm coming for you, the voice said in a song-like manner, sending a shiver down Noah's spine. Fun, Noah responded, calling into the vent. He aimed his flashlight upwards, looking up, only to be met with a drop of blood hitting his forehead. For a split second, a smiling face could be seen in the light before his flashlight flickered again. When its light returned, the face was gone. Noah's eyes widened. He was enraged. He climbed the vent quickly, aiming his flashlight around the corner as he reached it. Quiet carnival music was playing in the distance, echoing through the vents. It seemed like it was coming from straight ahead, however. Noah followed the sound, his flashlight in his mouth as he crawled through the vent. He was glad he was a smaller build to be able to do so. As he neared the origin, the music began to sound distorted, as if it were a lagging internet causing a microphone to stop working correctly. Stop trying to hide! Noah yelled into the vent, reaching the origin. His flashlight flickered once again, and when the light returned, a severed arm holding an old beat-up MP3 player laid in front of him. Quiet carnival music was playing from it. Noah nearly fell down when he saw the arm, sighing and shaking his head. He pulled out the vent grate and put it in front of him on the other side of the newly created hole, and hopped down from the vents into the room. He landed on a surgical table, the arm in a pool of blood. A singular light was next to it, shining a bright light at him. On one side of the room was a broken window and a closed door, the other 3 only showcasing splatters of blood. The floor and ceiling did the same. Noah smashed the MP3 player, hating its existence. He got off of the surgical table and walked over to the door, pulling it open and walking into the hall. The giggling was heard in the distance again. As he went to run towards it, an elevator ding sounded beside him. He turned towards the elevator, holding his bat in defense as the doors creaked open. Inside hung a body, missing both arms and legs, along with its face. The elevator was up another floor, the body having been hung from under it. The shaft seemed to go into a pit of darkness, unable to tell Noah how many stories had gone up from the fence. Noah slowly backed away from the elevator. Okay. Come and play, a child's voice said from down the hallway. Footsteps followed, slowly getting louder as if a child was running up to him. Noah quickly turned towards the origin, met with silence in an empty hallway, void of light other than a couple flickering. I swear this place is making me crazy. At the end of the hallway stood the silhouette of a man in front of a window, intriguing Noah to speak to this man. He walked up the hall, poking the man in the back of his head carefully with his baseball bat. The head fell off, revealing the man to be only a mannequin. He may be crazy, but he ain't dumb, Noah muttered to himself. Noah turned behind him to make sure Bubbles wasn't following, met with a second mannequin uncomfortably close. Its head sported a poorly drawn smiley face with a red substance of some sort, most likely blood. He gasped in surprise, bringing his bat up to swing with all his might, hitting the mannequin head down the hall at most 10 feet, causing it to scrape against the old tile floors. The child's voice returned, giggling. "Help me, mister." The giggling slowly devolved into crying as the child spoke again. "Help me, before I turn into a..." "Into a what?" Noah called out, not knowing where the child was. A nearby room window smashed into pieces as a spider-like arm burst through it, piercing the wall opposite of the window. Followed by 3 more, a spider-human hybrid crawled out of the window, wearing the tattered remains of what could only have been a little girl's dress. There was little of the girl left, however, with the forearms having stabbed out of her back, tearing the back of the dress open. Her body was deformed, odd lumps coming from different parts as the fur-like hair similar to a spider's sprouted from her body, the side of her face near her eye bulging as her eyes split into 3, similar to a spider's as well. Noah looked in horror as the girl's mouth split into 4 separate arms, bearing sharp teeth in all directions. He ran for the stairwell, knowing well that the girl, if you could even call it that anymore, would not be able to fit in it to follow him. The girl leaped at him, barely missing him and sliding into the window at full force, breaking it and falling in most likely to its death at the end of a drop. Noah stood frozen as he heard the sound of a body landing on a car and the crunching of metal and inhuman screeches following the collision. After, it was silent. Noah took a deep breath, trying not to see that the monster in its head and to calm down. This hospital was straight out of a horror movie. He walked back up and towards his flashlight, having dropped it during the adrenaline-fueled dash for life. He flipped the lever to the on position and was met with no light. "Crap," he muttered, tossing it aside. He readied his bat and began slowly walking down the hall, silent and listening for anything else. The windows from outside began glowing a faint red, growing stronger with every step he took. "Mister, why didn't you play with my daughter?" the first voice from before asked, however sounding much deeper. It sounded like it was coming from above. Noah turned to look outside, flinching when he heard the voice. He looked up, frozen on the spot with fear. "Why don't you play with us? We love guests," the voice continued, though nothing was above him. A hand touched his shoulder from behind. Noah jumped and turned around, backing away from whatever had touched him. All that faced him was a limp skeleton hanging from the ceiling. It had not been there before. Noah began to hyperventilate. Where's the exit?" The door began opening slowly, the squeak of grinding hinges flowing from it. Noah slowly walked towards it. He was met with a slowly brightening red light. A man walked up and into the doorway, his face exhibiting an inhumanly wide smile. Noah's eyes widened as he saw the man, swinging his bat by instinct for the man's head. His fight-or-flight response was ready to go at any moment. The man caught his bat, yanking it from his arms and throwing it aside. "That's no way to treat your doctor, is it, mister?" The voice sounded multiplied, a high voice coming in Noah's left ear, a low in his right. He stared in horror at the man, whose eyes and teeth were as red as blood. He took a deep breath and tried to ram the man, only being met with a broomstick in a janitor's closet. The man and the red light were gone. Noah fell down backwards, crawling into the corner of the room, hearing another voice. "Aren't you having fun? You've entered my funhouse. Now make yourself at home." Noah stammered, unable to make full sentences at the moment. He stood and ran for a nearby window, debating whether to open it and jump, or defend himself. He only now noticed that he was on the 3rd story of the hospital, the top floor other than the roof. Laughing was once again heard, now accompanied by the sound of metal scraping on metal. A steady thump of boots slowly rose in volume as whatever, neared the door to the room. Noah turned to jump, halfway out the window as his foot was grabbed. He was yanked back inside. Noah twisted his body to face a tall man with faded clown makeup. His hair was disheveled, grown long from the 15 years of no haircuts. He wore a tattered clown costume and seemed to be missing an ear. "I'm no myth, Noah." And that, my friends, was Myth of the Clown. I wrote this earlier this year, and I was proud of it. I still am. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. This story can be found on my Wattpad page under Reilious J if you search it up on the search bar. And yeah, all of my social media and things, if you guys wish to contact me, is in my introduction episode. And other than that, there's not really too much to talk about. If you guys would like to talk to me, again, send me a message on my social media, on most likely Discord, because that's where I'll probably check that you've sent me something the most. Or send me an audio, and I'll reply to it on here. It may take a while because I'm not exactly sure what the audio, how it works and all that, but that's besides the point for now. I will get to it. But yeah, again, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a good day. This is Reilious signing out. See you guys.